Hello, and welcome to Roll for Topic. I'm Chris Salzman.
And I'm Andy Rowe.
Welcome to the con, everybody. Cool, yeah. Thank you all for coming. So for those who are listening to this podcast, you obviously cannot see what I'm seeing, which is about 20-some happy, smiling faces. I think everybody's happy. Yeah, okay, look. Okay,
Raise your hand if you're not happy.
Yeah, okay, that's
okay,
good.
No hands,
All right,
that's
there's
good.
nothing I can do about that right now. Okay, we got one.
I told you my child was going to be a problem.
Yeah. So we wanted to try this out. So Andy and I have never done a live podcast recording, and we'll sort of see how this goes. But a tradition we have here at Roll for Topic Con is the swap table. So for the swap table who have never been to the con, this is a chance for all of us GMs to, let's say, liquidate games that they're ashamed of owning but not actually using. Yeah, it's maybe like closer to money laundering or something.
Something like that. It's
yeah.
interesting that shame was the main emotion that you connected to.
Yeah.
Right? Other words might be generosity or something like that. But shame is
lots of positive emotions too. So everybody puts those on the table. And then what we like to do here, Andy comes up with a quiz every year, which we're going to run through. The winner of that quiz gets first crack at choosing the item from the swap table that they will keep forever and ever and never actually put back on the swap table.
Yeah, no, definitely don't bring it back next year and put it on the swap table.
Yeah, please don't do that. And then we'll kind of go in order from there. So we're going to play this quiz together for the podcast. For those of you at home, what we're going to do is we will read through all the questions. Everybody's going to, of course, get them perfectly correct. And then we will we'll have a point in the podcast where we say like, okay, so now you can score yourself at home to sort of see how you do. So you can pause it at that point and score yourself, and then kind of see how it works. So
yeah. So shall I jump right in?
I think you should. Well, I guess before we do that, does everybody have a note card and a pencil? Okay.
Yeah. Listeners at home, get yourself a writing utensil.
Yeah,
number 2 pencil.
A number 2 pencil. If you don't use a number 2, it will be thrown out. Yes, Ticonderoga. Yep. Please sharpen it to a sharp point. You cannot get up to sharpen it later. Cool. All right. So, Andy, are there rules to this quiz?
There are rules. I'll talk about the rules.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So this is the third annual Roll for Topic trivia quiz. It's designed to test your GMing skills. These are generally considered to be pretty easy questions, so I expect all of you will ace them, and if not, you'll need to leave the con. But this is in the past. I've confined the answers to the questions on the quiz have always been a number between 1 and 10. But this year, we're trying something new. We're going to be stretching our boundaries, our GMing skills, and flexing some of our GMing muscles today. Like your favorite new edition of a game, we're leaving the old mechanics behind, and we're moving into some uncharted space here. So,
oh wow,
brace yourselves. So,
Andy's gone rogue.
That's right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the questions, give you a minute or two to jot down answers on your piece of paper or index card. Then, when I've gone through all the questions, I'll go back through and we'll go through and read the correct answers. When I read the answers, there might be a few opportunities to reclaim some extra credit points based on how you answer. So. Okay. All right, is everybody ready to get started? Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right, that was more subdued than the initial cheer.
I feel like everybody's maybe a little bit nervous now.
Okay.
They're all like,
Well, this is serious business.
Yes.
What we're about to do here. All right. The first question is related to the pop culture event of the decade, the D&D movie that recently came out. Yeah, okay. So I know all of you saw that on opening night, dressed up as an Ent. So this will be easy. All right. For this first question, you're going to have to kind of do a little role-playing exercise in your head and put yourself into a scenario. Let me paint the scene. You're planning a movie night with friends. You have excitedly told your non-gaming friends how good the new Dungeons & Dragons movie is, and you can't wait to show them, especially that cute person you're thinking of asking out. When your friends gather at your place, you turn on your big screen TV and press play, only to realize you've made a huge mistake that's going to cost you all of your relationships. Instead of renting Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, the hit movie with a 91% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, you have rented the 2012 direct-to-DVD movie Dungeons & Dragons Book of Vile Darkness.
Oh, no.
A few minutes later, after all your friends have stormed out and cursed your name and you're starting to understand that you're going to die alone, you settle down to finish watching the movie because at this point, nothing matters anymore. Here's the question. What is the composition of the party of adventurers who's starring in Dungeons & Dragons Book of Vile Darkness? I need you to provide a species and a character class for each.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint. There are 5 people in this adventuring party.
I think that's enough time. We can just move on.
I wanted to start with an easy one.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one. Yeah. Andy, I don't remember any classes.
Well, that seems like a problem we should talk about off here.
I think it's based on 4th edition. Just so you know.
Okay.
It was in the waning years or months of 4th edition D&D, and just to give you a little hint, when things were getting a little bit weird in the D&D releases. All right, I'll give everyone another minute. All right, has everyone had a chance to jot down 5 PCs almost?
Do you need their like character sheets right now too? Like, do you need ability scores?
You'll get bonus points if you
Okay.
actually stat them out correctly.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, I think everyone has had enough time, more than enough time. All right, we'll circle back later to tell you the correct answers and score. I should
Yes.
say the scoring system here is very carefully thought out. It's
Okay.
not random and poorly balanced. So, all right, question number 2. This one relates to everybody's favorite fantasy setting, Lord of the Rings. Another little role-playing scenario to imagine. Your adventuring party did not heed Gandalf's advice, and they are fighting the Balrog. And you didn't heed my advice either, because you're playing out the battle using the 1980 game Rolemaster, which players quickly began referring to as Chartmaster and Rule Master. The Balrog punches you and your friend each in the face. The GM takes a couple minutes to cross-index the Balrog's attack rolls with your defenses and looks up at you grimly from the attack chart. All right, you have to pay attention on this one. This is tricky. He looks at you. The attack result code for you is 45EK. The result for your friend is 37CP. Who is likely to die first, you or your friend?
Andy, are these questions autobiographical?
This is straight out of my role-playing childhood, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're projecting your trauma onto us right now. The first one there.
Can we escort that person out of
Yeah,
the
we can. Please, someone remove the child.
Yeah, friend just paid me to annoy you.
Fantastic. Okay. The next one is much simpler. Question number 3. What is the alignment of a flump?
Oh.
Going back to the flump well.
Yeah, the flump, I think, has made an appearance at most of these annual quizzes. It's just too good not to
Is
try on.
which edition?
The edition that came up when I Googled this.
Okay.
I doubt they have changed the flump's alignment across editions. It's too central a part of its identity.
For the dark, gritty flump reboot.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This one relates to everybody's favorite weird post-apocalyptic role-playing game, Rifts. In the Rifts role-playing game, one of the most ghastly and inhuman horrors you can encounter is called a vampire intelligence. It's the mastermind behind an empire of vampires. The rulebook describes it like this. Quote, the vampire intelligence is a gigantic mound of slime-covered flesh that measures 200 feet in diameter and 24 feet tall. 6 to 12 tentacles snake and writhe from the body mound. At the end of each tentacle is a mouth filled with sharp teeth and a pair of canine fangs. 100 small, round, red or yellow eyes encircle one giant central eye. Here's the question. What is the vampire intelligence's percentage rank in the dance skill? Your answer should be between 0 and 100.
I feel like there's no way to not be angry at whatever that number is.
It's a good number.
Okay.
Okay, next question. The Champions role-playing game is a fast-moving cinematic experience that recreates the dynamic whirlwind action of superhero comics. If your character is a Flash-style speedster with a top speed of 500 miles per hour, then starting from a standstill, how fast will you be moving 5/12ths of a second later? Assume base human movement rate and a 5 mile per hour per inch per hex per phase rate of acceleration. I don't see a lot of people writing numbers down.
What was the unit? Yeah.
You provide your
Provide
your
your
units,
unit.
yeah. So what is the answer? Should be the miles per hour that you are traveling 5/12ths of a second after you start accelerating to top speed. Okay. Next, we are going back to the well of the D&D movie, and this question is kind of an honor system question, so I need you to look deep within yourselves and be honest with yourself. Approximately how many times while watching the new D&D movie did you think that's not how it works in the rules? Be honest. Okay. Next question is a little different, and you're going to need to flex your creative writing skills.
This is 7, correct?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes. It's question number 7.
Probably at 7, yes. Okay. So everyone needs their piece of paper handy because there's a little creative writing exercise here, okay? The beloved Dragonlance Chronicles were so popular that the publisher released an annotated edition of the trilogy. The annotations in this case are short notes in the margin that explain or add context to a sentence. Sometimes they add a fun fact about the passage. Well, in a crazy stroke of luck, you've been given the job of editor on a new annotated edition of the Dragonlance Chronicles. Write a short one-sentence annotation that illuminates this passage. Okay? I'll read it once, and I can read it again after if you need.
No, just once.
Okay, just once. All right. Here's the passage you are illuminating with your margin note. The slug, sensing success, slithered forward, dragging its pulsating gray body through the door. Rasslin ran to Fizban's side. Now is the time for the casting of the fireball, old one, he panted. So take a minute and annotate that sentence. Get a little extra time for this one,
Yeah.
but not a lot.
Do you want the actual annotation in the book or
Yeah,
our
right.
own spin on it with corrections?
No, I want the annotation you would write
okay.
if they were like, we need a margin note for this passage. Provide one. Okay. I'm going to move ahead. Next question. Also related to Dragonlance. Dragonlance is known for what? What is Dragonlance known for? Let's hear.
Dragons?
Dragons, lances. Both wrong. Dragonlance is known for its music, obviously. It's one of the few, or perhaps the only game to include printed sheet music in an adventure module. So, provide your own fourth line to complete this stanza. I'm going to read you the first 3 lines in the 4-line stanza. Creative write the fourth one. The grasslands are fragile, as yellow as flame. The chieftain makes mockery. Fill in the rest. I'll read it again. The grasslands are fragile, as yellow as flame. The chieftain makes mockery. Okay. I'm going to move on. Next question relates to Cyberpunk 2020, the seminal cyberpunk role-playing game, a copy of which, is sitting on the swap table back there. You're a badass edge-running street samurai in the mean streets of Night City. You're creating a character in Cyberpunk 2020, and you have a very specific character type in mind. You've replaced your eyes with Cyclops International Bug Eye artificial eyes that look like gigantic bug eyes. What effect does this have on your attractiveness stat? Provide your answer in the form of a plus or minus, and then a number that modifies the attractiveness stat. All right, we're down to our final question, after which we'll go through all the answers. In the year 2000, in the waning days of 2nd edition D&D, Wizards of the Coast released a tie-in source book that let you play in the setting of the popular video game Diablo. How many magic items does the blurb on the back of the source book claim are within the book? Okay. Are we ready to go through and score things up? Does anyone need more time? Okay. Ready?
Yeah, I think yeah. So if you're listening to this the podcast episode at this point, this is where you get to see into the mind of Andy.
No, to see into the mind of yourself and how good of a GM you are. Okay, the first question was to name the different members of the party of adventurers in Dungeons & Dragons Book of Vile Darkness. Here they are. So, give yourself 1 point for each correct thing you got. So if the answer is Elf Bard and you wrote Elf somewhere on your card, give yourself a point. Okay? If you actually got a combination correct, like you wrote Elf Bard on your card, you get an extra bonus point in addition to the 2 points.
Wow.
All right? I know. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Human Paladin. Shadar Kai Sorceress. I will accept Sorcerer. Human Assassin.
No.
Nope.
Did he say?
Wow, that's
Jeez.
it's getting bloodthirsty in the
I
crowd.
know. I think everybody wants that first pick. Yeah.
We're not done, guys. Goliath Barbarian. And finally, Human Vermin Lord.
Does each instance of human count if I only have
Like,
one?
I wrote human once. Do I get it 3 points?
That's what I was saying. That was my question.
I don't want to think about that, so
Yeah.
Okay.
you know,
Just the
look
one.
into your heart. Yeah, I told you 4th edition got kind of loopy at the end of its print run. Okay, did anybody get any of the combinations? What? Whoa. Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Nice.
Nobody. Did anyone get a Shadar Kai? Does anyone know what a Shadar Kai is?
I do.
All right. What?
Running the 40 adventure.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
So this would be a bonus point right here. If you can,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you can tell us what a Shadar Kai is, you can get a bonus point.
I believe the Shadar Kai were a race that came from the Shadowfell and were almost exclusively like minions of the Raven Queen, who was the goddess of death.
You
That's
gotta
a.
give him 2 for that.
I think that's two,
That's
two
pretty
bonus
good.
points,
Yeah.
my friend. Yeah. Anyone put Goliath, and no one put Vermin Lord, I assume.
Yeah. Somehow that one slipped my mind.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one. It was a question about the Balrog. Balrog punched 2 of you. Who's going to die first? This question came down to knowing how to interpret Rollmaster's arcane damage results. The answer is... all right. The answer is you are going to die first because E signifies a more serious critical hit. Okay? So you get 4 points if you got that right. If you said you'll both be dying this round anyway, so it doesn't matter, you get 2 points. And you get 1 additional bonus point if your first instinctive answer to the question began with the phrase, well, it depends if... All right, couple of bonus extra credit questions on this one. If you can tell me what the P or the K stand for in these results, you'll get bonus points. Yes?
P is the level of critical?
Nope. Does anyone want to guess what does the P stand for or the K stand for?
Does the K stand for kill?
No. Nope. That would make sense.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
All right. Well, the P stands for puncture. And the K stands for crush because... Yeah, I know.
What it,
That's just how it is.
yeah, that is.
Okay. All right. What's the alignment of the flump? Who wants to confidently belt out what its alignment is?
True neutral.
I said lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral.
The answer is lawful good. You get 3 points for each part of that you got right. So if you said lawful 3, you get 3 points, and you said good, you get 3 points. Let's see. It was a little bonus question. You can get an extra credit points. What is the average lifespan of a flump? Does anyone want to raise their hand and take a guess?
1,000 years.
Nope.
Are they immortal?
They're not. They're very mortal. They're like alarmingly mortal.
Super mortal.
Yeah.
42.
42. I'll give you 1 point for the 42 answer. The lifespan is 20 years. Thought more people would know that one.
I'm not sure why, but
All right, who wants to tell me what their guesses were for the vampire intelligence's dance skill?
36.
14, 20%, 37.
47.
17.
All right. I heard somebody, saying a high number. I heard someone say something in the 90s. Well, the answer is 80%. So it's a really good dancer. If you got that exactly correct, you get 6 points. If you got within 10 or so of that, you have 4 points.
how
if
big was that again?
24 feet tall.
Okay, and it's shockingly good.
Yeah. If you got with... What's that?
You can dance without legs, man.
There was no mention of legs. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you got within 20 of the correct answer, you can take 2 points. Okay. The champion speed question. This was calculating acceleration. In Champions, one of the few games I know of that thinks it's cool to calculate acceleration. The correct answer to this is to turn to page 32 in your Champions rulebook, then walk slowly into the kitchen and throw the rulebook into the garbage. So I don't know the answer to this because who has time to figure that out? Here's how we'll score this. If you actually made some effort to use math or logic or rules knowledge or something to figure this out, give yourself 3 points. If you just shrugged and put a number that sounds right, you're a great GM and you get 5 points. If you skipped answering this because you correctly realized it was a waste of your time, you get 6 points. Okay, for the D&D movie accuracy, you get 1 point for every time you thought of a rules. You thought to yourself, that's not how it works in the rules, up to a maximum of 10 points. If at any point you turned to somebody, preferably your non-gaming significant other, and explained to them out loud, you get 2 additional points.
But only one time, Tim.
Yeah.
If you did it 7 times,
Yeah.
you get 14 points.
Yeah.
All right, the scoring for this next one is the Dragonlance Annotation Challenge. I want you to hand your piece of paper to the person next to you, and then put on your teacher grading hat, and give that person's annotation a grade between 0, which is you're a worse person for having read it, up to 10, which is it really brought out startling nuance in that. So
Andy, I'll hand mine over to you.
Oh, I have to do this.
Yeah, you can.
1 to 10.
All right. Where?
Fireball, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize other people were going to read mine.
Yeah.
Mine might constitute hate speech.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask for people to read some of their annotations, but we won't read John's. Okay. Does anyone want to?
That seems unfair. You shouldn't have been able to see my score before you scored mine.
All right. Does anyone want to volunteer to read an annotation?
Yeah, Andy, I'll read mine because you wrote a number on this that is a lot higher than I thought it was going to be.
Well, it made me laugh.
Okay.
So.
I wrote the slug is more than Conan.
Yeah.
Here's mine. Would you reread the passage so I can put it in context?
Sure. The slug, sensing success, slithered forward, dragging its pulsating gray body through the door. Rastlin ran to Fizban's side. Now is the time for the casting of the fireball, old one, he panted.
So I wrote, tieflings are a mistake and the world is worse because of them.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you should not have read that out loud.
Wow, okay. I feel a little uncomfortable now.
Yeah, okay. Anyone can anyone bring us back?
Anyone else want to read theirs, or shall we move on?
I'll give you a quick one. The real horror of this scene is the hope found in the anthropomorphized slug just before being destroyed by its magical weakness, fire.
Excellent. I'm going to salute that one. I hope you got a good grade for that one, but I can't influence the grade you got. Okay, I'm going to move on then. The next one was the other kind of creative writing exercise, the Dragonlance music one. We're going to do the same thing here. Well, actually, no, we're not going to exchange. We'll do honor system here. All right. The canonical answer to this is the final line is of Riverwind's claim. So it's the chieftain makes mockery of Riverwind's claim. If you, for some reason, wrote that, give yourself 10 points, but maybe see yourself out.
Yes.
If your answer rhymed, give yourself 3 points. If it fit the meter of the rest of the stanza, give yourself 3 more points. If you tried to find a way to make a naughty rhyme, give yourself 2 extra points. And does anyone want to read their final line of the stanza? Okay, just belt it out.
They'll die all the same.
I wrote, of your face with disdain.
Okay, that's a good one. I'll give you an extra point for that one.
To explain.
You guys can each take an extra point. Okay, moving on to Cyberpunk 2020. Oh, I'm sorry. There is one more person.
I just wrote this question as a name.
All right, I'll give you
Gotcha.
2 points for that one. All right, the next question is Cyberpunk 2020. When you replace your eyes with bug eyes, what does that do to your attractiveness stat? First of all, raise your hand if your answer is a positive number. So you think that bug eyes increased your attractiveness stat.
I don't think we should be raising our hands.
You guys are sickos, but I kind of like the collective cut of your jib. So give yourself 3 points for that. The actual answer is -2. If you got that exactly, give yourself 5 points.
If I wrote +2.
Then you can take 3 points if you have any positive answer. And then if you got within 2 points of the correct answer, give yourself 2 points. Lastly is the Diablo question. How many magic items did the Diablo sourcebook boast were in the rulebook? Who wants to take a guess?
666.
Oh, that's a good
That's,
guess. That's a really good
it would have
guess.
been a better sourcebook had that.
573.
Oh, that's also a good guess.
I wrote dozens.
Okay.
I assume there
More
was.
than 20.
Okay.
I assume there was some sort of like way to generate random ones. So I said 10 million.
You are on the right track, my friend. The correct answer is 1 million. And they get to it by very cheesily abusing the random generator tables and multiplying them together. So
Almost like the actual Diablo games.
exactly, yes. So, okay, so here's what we're going to do. Hopefully you've been writing down your score so far, so just add that up and then...
How do you score the last one?
Oh, I'm sorry. If you got that exactly right, give yourself 7 points. If you guessed something in the hundreds of thousands or more, give yourself 4 points.
And what if you went way over like Smart Guy Ben here?
4 points.
What if I want 4 points?
Right then, I mean, I can't see your card. You can, honor system scoring here. So, okay. So take a minute, tally up all of your points, and when it comes to when it's time to go up to the swap table, we will go in the order of your score. So the higher your score, the sooner you get to go up to the swap table. Maybe just for the purposes of this exercise, who thinks they got the highest score? Who got a really high score? I didn't really add up how many points you can get. So
Did anyone add up how many the maximum number of points?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So okay.
Because Murph couldn't come.
Yeah.
who had a high number they think is high?
Well, I didn't think mine was high, but it was 36.
Ooh, who can beat a 36? Oh,
Of course.
dang! And how
Wait.
many points?
Oh, 39. Is 39 the highest?
Okay, well, Chris, what was your score?
Mine was 34, but good job, Brandon.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, everyone.
Yes, yeah.
All right, well,
to spare everybody who's listening, we will not go around and say all of our numbers.
yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for playing, Andy. That is a delight as always, and I don't know how you do it. So yeah, but thank you so much. All right, well, this has been Roll for Topic. Thank you all for listening. Hope those who are listening who can't make it today, I guess I'm assuming that you're all going to go listen to this episode later and verify that you got things correct. But yeah, so yes, the con is always a delight. Hopefully next year you can make it. And I've been Chris Salzman.
I've been Andy Rao.
Remember, if your player's having fun, you're a great GM.